This episode is brought to you by Echo Spirits. Make sure you go down and check out some of their award-winning bottles. Drink local.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
All right, we're back. Episode 41, Trailers to Yachts. This is episode 2 of season 3. Mm-hmm. So we got Joe with us here from the one and only Echo Spirits.
Hey, guys.
Do you want to, I guess, Cole, you want to top us off?
Let's pour this off and do our cheers.
We'll get kicked off from there.
But yeah, we alluded to it last episode that we had some big news on the kind of like podcast partnership front. And believe it or not, we have partnered with Echo Spirits.
Very cool.
And
I appreciate you guys reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be changing our cocktail menu to feature pretty much exclusively Echo Spirits. And we got a cool couple other things that we're doing and got in the works too. Yeah. So it's going to be
fun
sweet.
Stuff.
Everything I've had from you guys, that's what I tell everyone, has been fantastic.
Good.
Like,
glad to hear it.
When we reached out first, like a lot of people had talked you guys up. You guys are always like very like active in the community.
Sure, yeah.
I see you on Reddit a few times too, posting.
Yeah. I'm on there.
I'm like, Joe, this
Reddit's
seems like
scary,
a cool.
Reddit, the problem is now I can't like
ballsy.
I
man.
am not anonymous anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you can definitely track my account to who I am.
It's ballsy because Reddit people are savages.
Can be mean.
They're so mean. We've been insulted so many times on Reddit. Like, what are we doing? We're just making burgers, guys. Come on.
Right.
But yeah, so once we reached out, I started like sampling some of your guys' products, and I was every single time I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. So
got a few years under our belts figuring it out. Now you don't want to taste the early stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
You should have had you should have seen how our burgers have evolved since like the garage to the food truck, and like every single step has been just like gently refining.
Some of the home whiskey is it's still in my basement, and I go back for a sip every once in a while. And you're like, no, I don't need a glass of that. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, inaugural cheers.
Cheers,
Thanks for coming on.
Fantastic.
It's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Did you tell them about our yacht shots?
No.
Familiar with the Yacht Shot Club?
If I know the yacht shot.
The hats he's wearing. So our burger sauce, we call it yacht sauce. It's like luxury burger sauce.
Right.
So we mix that with Evan Williams.
Okay.
Shake it. You take the shot, you get a pickleback. It's $10 and you get a hat. So we've done a whole bunch of different like yacht shot hats.
Yeah.
For the Yacht Shot Club, but we got to do a Echo Spirits Yacht Shot Club
That's a
hat.
heck of a deal. $10.
Yeah, you get a shot and a hat for $10.
Shot and a half.
They're all limited edition too. So like we've just started to do Blue Jackets hats. So like you can only get them during Blue Jackets games.
They're not Blue Jackets hats. They're just
Adjacent.
look like Blue Jackets.
There's a
cut that. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll probably get sued, but
Have you gotten your first cease and desist yet? No.
Not yet. We are just
we're trying.
I have.
it.
It's fun.
Have you?
I have.
Can you talk about it or?
A little. It is related to the our new herbal liqueur.
Oh, that checks. I can see there being a lot of
the monks.
Yeah.
So we dance around that one carefully now. I really wanted my first one to be Disney though, because that's great publicity right there. If you can get Disney mad at you.
See, I want Smashburger to come after us.
Sure.
They've gone after a few people, and I think it'd be good for us.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, someone put it was in New Hampshire. They called their burger a Smashburger, and like 2 weeks later, they got a letter from Smashburger being like, "Nope, it's copyright."
Is it copyrighted?
Yeah, but they lost because I don't know copyright law very well, but because it's a technique in cooking the burger, you smash the burger,
right?
You can't really copyright that. You can
sense,
call it that because it's a technique. Yeah. Whereas if it was something else, like I don't know all the intricacies, but they were basically told like, you guys don't got any leg to stand on.
It's nothing there anymore.
We can't call our business that, but if it's a burger and that's how we cook it, that's how we cook it.
Right.
Get off my back. So.
The problem is everybody calls them smash burgers.
Well, right.
Yeah,
it's
only like
universal
10% of them are.
Yeah. This was like, I think this was like 5 or 6 years ago when Smashburger was like really starting to have their rise.
Yeah.
But
you don't hear much about them anymore. There's a million Smashburger places popping up right now, though.
Yeah, it became popular. Anybody's doing it.
Yeah, once we started, everyone's like, this is a great idea.
Yeah, no.
No,
not even close.
We literally,
First
I
to
started
market.
making them because I had a Blackstone. I kept seeing everyone doing it on Instagram. was like, I want to try these out. And then now here we are 2.5 years later. But anyways.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your story, like how you ended up distilling for Echo Spirits.
Yeah,
and
yeah, sure.
The start of the company.
So we started as an idea to open a brewery. And it really goes back to, I got a lot of people to blame along the way with this. Goes back to like 2008, like November of 2008, like right around now. Got out of college, finance degree, no jobs in the finance world at that point. And one of my roommates had brought home like a, whatever you would have considered craft beer at the time, like a pack of those, and just kind of went down this rabbit hole. And me and my roommates kind of got interested in good beer. Get out of school, no job, little back in the napkin math says it's a whole lot cheaper to make your own beer than it is to buy it.
Yeah.
And that's where the series of mistakes began. We started brewing at home just over the year, over years, had buddies coming and going from the hobby. People would move away, people would move back into town, and I was just kind of the consistent one with it and just kept running. Lots of batches of beer. I mean, dozens and dozens. And it got to the point where every home brewer winds up like dipping into other things like wine, mead, sake, like all sorts of different stuff. And there's like two things that are common with like home brewers. One is that everybody at some point like goes like, oh, I should open my own place. And two, everybody at some point gets interested in a little bit of garage distillation. And those two things kind of converged for us at about the right time. We said, hey, let's open a brewery. And we looked around Columbus and said, like, there's 5 breweries in Columbus. That's way too many, right? Like Columbus could never possibly have more than 5 breweries. Absurd. Wrong, but that's fine. And honestly, it was going on tours of some of the local guys. Like it was like a Groupon or something, like went on tours of like Watershed and Middle West and said, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen in my life. Let's go do that instead.
Right on.
Yeah.
And you're coming up on 5 years, right?
5 years of our bar. So we just had our 6-year anniversary for the distillery itself. Yeah.
Nice.
October 2nd, October 3rd. I forget. Yeah. Of 2019. So yeah, we started at just the wrong time. We had white rum on the shelves of, I think, 5 stores. Very few like menu placements at that point. We thought we kind of missed the holiday season, stepping away from our, day jobs and into full time at the distillery, and focused on getting the bar open. We thought we were getting our bar open in like March, maybe April of 2020. Spent all the money, like had a little bit of surplus after like building the distillery, like just really careful with the money and all that. And said, okay, well then let's go build out the bar. Let's get this running. Let's get it going. COVID. So it didn't wind up till that December that we wound up getting the bar open, the bar at Echo Spirits.
So what was like the driving force to finally be like, I'm done working this other job. I'm going to go all in. And I know I think we can be successful.
It was a lot of like little stuff. We definitely call ourselves the two guys who didn't quit their daydream. We worked in really analytical jobs, both of us, right? Like, so I worked in IT. Nikhil, my partner, he is a civil engineer. So very analytical jobs, and we were using the brewing kind of as our creative outlet. And it just became this thing over years and years of like thinking about it and doing, and like, okay, let's write a business plan and see what it looks like. Okay, let's go take some classes, that kind of stuff. And it just got to this point where we're like, I mean, it's shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Really, right. It's like, I need to go try this, because if I don't, I will always regret it. I might regret doing it, right? Like I might make a mistake. This might not go well, but I will always regret not trying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a specific batch where it was like a bourbon or rum that you just tried and you're like, this is it?
Once we got the distillery going, it was probably around, the rum certainly was the first, thing. And that was, it's probably around like batch 2 or 3 where we kind of really started to like settle into, okay, we feel a little more consistent with what we're doing. And like, then like, obviously like how to operate the still and how to blend it afterward. Like all the, we talk a lot during our tours and stuff about how there's like very sciencey parts.
Yeah.
And then at the end, all the science and control totally disappears. I mean, not you have all your own control still, but it's all down to that art form of like figuring out, okay, how do I take all these different like components of alcohol that I created and put them back together and just trying to figure out what is that flavor profile. And then a couple months ago, it all blew up because the supplier who made our rum yeast stopped making that yeast. So we had to scramble and find a new one. So we just kind of settled on that about a month ago.
Did they give you any heads up on that?
Nope, had no idea. Nope, just kind of happened.
Like, oh yeah, we don't have that anymore.
That's it. For a while, it had been kind of hard to get, so we were always kind of stocking up when it was available, and that's just kind of the cycle of like distillery yeast buying anyway. Just they don't have as many customers. They've got all these niche things. They produce it for this month, and then that's all they have for a while.
Yeah.
And this time it just kind of wasn't available anymore. And all the reseller websites and all that kind of stuff that we like knew from all that time trying to scramble to find it. No, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's
I have to imagine is tough because it's like you get a new batch of yeast and it's like this is going to change some things, and you can't tell until you got the juice.
We kind of lucked into, and some of it was. And we were kind of approaching Q4 very quickly. And we're like, well, we need to try a few and we're going to have to pick the one that we're most comfortable with. Like there's ultimately like a little bit of a gamble. We know it's not going to taste the same. If there's one that's pretty close, we'll do that. But it was like, we know it's going to be different. If we have to go back to the drawing board in, January, February, when we've got a little more downtime to work on that stuff, cool. But we're like, one of these has to be right. So we did luck out and got one that was pretty close. It's still a little bit different, but it's close enough that we're like, okay, we can stick with this.
So what's all the science behind that? Like the yeast strains, like it does have a big effect on that.
They have a huge,
is it just the byproduct of the yeast?
It's the byproducts because ultimately it's just eating up the sugar and producing heat and carbon dioxide and alcohol. And it's all those, not the pure ethanol, but all those other like flavor esters and compounds that it creates, that a particular strain has been bred to like generate fruity flavors or nutty flavors or.
So when you get a packet of yeast, it's not just one strain of yeast. It's like a combination of like, because isn't yeast a single cell organism?
It's a single cell organism. I mean, you can buy blends. Most of them are kind of like dialed to one specific.
Gotcha.
Like set of flavors, but even then you're relying totally on the manufacturer and what they
say it is,
see and taste and say it is and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You can't just like
just taste the yeast.
No, it looks good. Bake some bread and be like,
it's the nuttiest bread I've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. What did you start with when you got into distilling then? I mean, before you got it all open, did you go straight to, or did you say the rums?
So I mean, when we were doing the full distillery thing, rum was the go-to. We knew from the start. Nobody else, when we really started planning, nobody else around Columbus or really even in Ohio was doing rum. In the process of getting there, 451 Spirits opened up and they did rum, and of course we're like, oh crap, like somebody else is doing rum. But there was plenty of room there, of course. When we were doing it at home, we started out actually with sorghum whiskey.
Okay.
Buying like sorghum syrup and then trying to make it out of that. And we kind of envisioned it, of course, at the time as a like a take on rum. Like we're like looking to, can we call this like sorg rum or something like that, which those kind of do exist out there. They're not, technically rums, as we of course come to find out, but like Ohio was a big producer of sorghum back in like the 1800s, and we're trying to lean into some history and find some things there that worked. We're pretty okay that we didn't wind up going that direction.
I've never had sorghum rum or whiskey, but
right.
Sure, it's all right.
Earthy.
Yeah.
Not a bad way, just interesting. I mean, that's been the biggest change, of course, that I think any business owner, any creator finds is you get into the business with one set of beliefs, and it's often I'm my ideal customer. And then what you find out is you have to change that and craft it to match what people will actually buy.
Yeah.
Right.
While also not losing your identity and the way.
Right. Yeah. There's a balance to find there. Because we're definitely, I love the niche, interesting spirits. Let me go try this. Let me go do that. And less over time as I wind up like, okay, I need to adjust my palate like just to bourbon for a little while and just like run with that. But that's what we like doing. And we find out, okay, well, like the average person, there's a reason that Tito's and Jim Beam and Fireball and all these things like sell well, right? There is an average palate or a median palate rather that like you kind of have to go for.
Yeah,
make money.
Bit. That's why we do our burgers of the week. It's like that's for us. That's what we tell everyone. Yes. It's like it might not sell the most, but like we have regulars who like to change things up. They come in once a week. They like to try it. But for everyone else, you got the original and you got the All American. Like that fills most of the general population. Right. If you want to get adventurous and try some kimchi, you got a kimchi burger every once in a while. Chicken marsala burger. But it's what I want to eat.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You find the creative outlets, and we do special releases and like our Engineer Series bourbon, which is our barrel proof bourbon. That's always, we're blending different barrels from different distilleries. Like every batch is totally unique. Never make it again. That kind of thing. Like those are our creative outlets, like where we get to like sit down and play, and it's not just rinse and repeat, make the same rum over and over and over.
Which we got one of the Engineer Series, which I think it was like the old Granddad or something. We have the bottle right over here.
Paging Dr. Dad.
That
was the most recent one. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Those are fun.
I was like, it was like what, 58.5% or something?
Probably. Yeah.
Super high
like
proof.
116
and I'm like,
proof.
It does not drink that way.
No, right. You
all.
never.
It's so good.
That.
Yeah. I think we crushed that bottle in like a few weeks. Yeah.
A few weeks of
responsibly, of course.
Phenomenal though. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are fun. Sit down at the blending table and it's a lot of work. And luckily I've got, a few people on the team who I like really trust to like, okay, here's 10 barrels you got to work with. Like come up with every possible combination of those barrels and taste it and like start to whittle this list down. Yeah. And then we kind of get to the table together with like, okay, here's like 5 directions. And then we start to play with it as a team.
Yeah.
Which is, I've done those blending sessions myself before, and it's just crazy palate burnout. I'm done. I want to go to bed.
I imagine you have to do it over a few days because
you have to
after like the fourth one, you're like, this all tastes the same.
My notes are getting worse and sloppy and all that. Yeah. It's no good.
Which I have to ask, is your palate something you develop, or do some people just have like a better palate than others? Because I've been drinking a lot of bourbon. And maybe I'm just not like putting much thought and like mindfulness into it.
Sure.
But a lot of bourbon tastes pretty similar.
There's a lot of that, and you're looking for nuances. It's a combination, right? Okay. Some people do just have a better palate and a better starting point. It does. If you want to work on it, you can. Like it's an intentional sit down, think about it, look at, my biggest thing, I was always tried to like pick it out of the air, these flavor notes and stuff. Like look at a flavor wheel. Like people have developed this to like stare at it and, oh yeah, that makes sense, but I never would have thought about it on my own. And then a lot of it,
do people make stuff up? Because sometimes there'll be like a bourbon, like this has apricot and like this like minty flavor. And I'm like,
I mean, people embellish, certainly.
Dark cherry.
I mean, well, sometimes you have to rewrite the word. It's not just cherry, it's dark cherry. That sounds more romantic. That's sexier. That sells. And a lot of it's just like it's your experiences, right? It's what you've tasted. I'm tasting this because it reminds me of the cottage that my grandparents owned up on this lake, and it was like musty, dirty. Oh, I remember the fire pit. Okay, it smells like smoke to me. Like it's a very specific, like lived experience that you're bringing to that, and people have different things. So a lot of times people will be describing the same thing, just like different ways, right? Depending on where they're coming from.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean,
it's fun.
I really like it.
Yeah.
I've tried to.
It's fun to sit down and intentionally just like stare at it like with a notebook and just like what am I getting here?
Yeah. And even as the bottle like goes down and like it sits on the shelf for a bit, the oxygen that like changes the flavor like from the neck to the bottom. It's like
we did an experiment with that.
Oh, did you?
About a year ago, I think. So we've got a whiskey club, the Oak Enclave,
cool.
for Echo Spirits, and we always try to do like some kind of sciencey fun sort of experiment or something. We did. So the concept is called the neck pour, right? And the idea is that like when you fill the bottle, it's like up to here, right? And that you got that much oxygen in there. Mm-hmm. And as you go, not only are you opening it, closing it, like refreshing the oxygen in there and exchanging it over time, but like that contact we'll change the flavor. So what we did was we had 3 bottles of the same spirit, bottled at the same time, same batch, same everything. One of them left fully closed. One of them, I think we like dumped it down to like here. So I guess we had like 2 or 3 of them going, but like we dumped them down to here and just like opened it for 5 minutes every day and shut it again. The other one we emptied to like halfway, and everybody thought they were we didn't tell them what the experiment was. And everybody thought they were totally different spirits. And most people preferred the one that had been open for just a little bit. That was supposed to kind of represent that it
right in the meaty part
that
of
it
the
like
curve.
off-gassed a little bit of those like residual hot flavors and just kind of softened it. And that was like the average favorite for people, which was pretty cool. Almost no one preferred the freshly opened one.
Yeah, it's usually not the best.
Right. And that's why you taste something at a bar, you taste something at a friend's house, you go buy the same exact bottle in a store, you take it home, taste it, and it's just not what you
Man, I was drunk.
remember. Right.
Yeah, it's harsh.
It's harsh. It's often,
Ethanol
harsh. It depends on, and of course, like the experience and setting and all that kind of stuff, it's more fun to go have it and share it with someone, and you've got a memory there, and that's always more fun and a little more memorable when you get home and you just have it yourself or something like that. Okay, this isn't as fun. It was a rough day, whatever. That changes it too. But we thought in that was always what people kind of leaned on, thinking that's really what you're experiencing there. So we did a little experiment, and I don't know. I think we proved it exists. It's a thing.
There you go.
Yeah, I had no idea. I'm learning
Now
so
you
much
know.
today. You got, what is it? Queen's rum coming out in a couple days?
Queen Share rum
Queen
comes
Share.
out this Saturday. Yeah. Backstory into so essentially, not all alcohol is created equal, right? And I don't mean like good brands, bad brands, that kind of thing. I mean like in one fermentation, there's not just ethanol created. There's methanol and all these other sorts of flavor compounds and other sorts of alcohols in there. When you've got, and that's true of any fermentation, when you've got beer and wine, why not? When you got beer and wine and those kind of things, it's spread out over such a large volume, you're never going to notice, right? It's kind of the full package. Because it's the full volume. But when you distill it, you're concentrating it, right? We're taking 500 gallons and taking it down to 50 gallons, right? Most of which is removed as water, right? So you're concentrating all those flavors. It's much more easy to tell the good stuff versus the bad stuff. And that's the idea of the heads, hearts, and tails. Heads, it's essentially industrial floor stripper. Like the big companies save it up and sell it off to the chemical manufacturers and that kind of thing. For whiskeys, it contains a lot of the flavor compounds associated with whiskey. So when you're making a whiskey, you kind of blend that into the hearts. The hearts being the good part, the nearly pure ethanol. That's what you actually want to drink. The tails then is kind of that end spot. If you're making whiskey, often you don't even, once you get to that point, you just shut off the still because what's the point of throwing more energy into it? When you're making rum, we collect down into that because those are the flavor compounds associated with rum. So we're blending those back in to kind of make it more rummy. When we're making the Queen Share, we also have a very inefficient still, right? Like unless you have one of those big Kentucky style Vendome, the 3-4 story tall things that are super efficient, all of those kind of blend together a little bit. So we'll save it up and toss it into the next batch, right? Because then the next distillation, you'll get a little bit of it back out and you can kind of cycle it through a few times before it starts to build up and then you dump it, restart. But when we're doing the Queen Share, we'll actually save up those tails, set them aside in their own container. And once we fill like a tote, like a 270 gallon, like IBC tote of them, we'll throw that into the still. So you've got all these rich, intense, like rum flavor compounds that have now been mingling together with that residual good ethanol for a little while. Distill that on its own and toss it into a barrel, let it sit for, I think the first year was 18 months, the first batch we did. So we only released one barrel a year. And when it's gone till the next year. I think it was 18 months and then it was 19 months. And then this third batch we got to, it's like almost 2 years. And then last year we made a big leap. It was over 3 years. And then this year, the fifth batch we've released, which is also the first batch that we did in a new barrel. All the previous ones had been used bourbon barrels. What is exactly 3 years. But it's interesting with the new barrel, that was kind of just an experiment we wanted to do to see like, okay, what's this going to taste like? Well, apparently everybody loves it because we always do like blind taste tests and like ranked choice voting, like send this through, get everybody to pick your favorites, rank them, order them. And that was pretty unanimously like the top most favorite one. So that was cool to see even among like heavy rum drinkers, because this one drinks a lot more like a whiskey, like a bourbon, because you're getting that new barrel aspect. You're getting all the vanilla and caramel flavors from the fresh barrel.
Apricot, that when you dark cherry.
Right, exactly. That when you get in a used barrel, a lot of that's been stripped out and you're just kind of adding bourbon flavor to it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's been a ton of fun. The Queen Share San Francisco World Spirits Competition, which is like the biggest spirits competition in the world. The first 3 batches of that, we didn't submit it last year. The first 3 batches of that won a double gold, which means all 10 judges who tasted it thought it was a gold medal. When you get a double gold for 3 years in a row, they call it a platinum medal. So it's a platinum award winning.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I think it's one of the only rums in the world to have won that. That's pretty cool.
I think rum has not had its heyday as much as like bourbon and other stuff.
No,
and
bourbon,
like,
I mean, it kind of took over, and Ohio in particular, or the Midwest, like we're such a heavy grain growing region. Like
that's
you
fair.
make what's around,
right?
And that's how a lot of the history of it all started. Rum was heavy rum was the American spirit in the colonial days. Mm-hmm. Like it was the used molasses from the Caribbean, from sugarcane production. New England was the biggest producer of rum in the world. And it's not till you start to move down into like the Pennsylvania area starts making a lot of rye whiskey. And that's the original whiskey. And it's not until you start to push colonialism westward and you start to get into areas that grow more corn that like you start to make bourbon and those kind of things. That's, back to our days of making sorghum whiskey at home.
Yeah.
Well, Ohio probably made a lot of sorghum whiskey back in the day.
Because everyone had a still back then. Basically.
Every farmer, it was your method to every farm had a still on it because it was you didn't have grain silos and those kind of ways. It was your way to preserve your unsold crop and in fact to increase its value, right? Because whiskey would have sold for much more than the raw grain would have.
Yeah, you
still got to sell it right then to make the money, but you start setting it aside and it's your way to turn it into more money and prevent it from rotting.
Yeah. But I mean, I love rum. There's so much diversity there, like between all the different spirits, and like
rum
the range is so wide.
Rum is a huge category that we think of bourbon and rye whiskey and wheat whiskey and Tennessee whiskey and corn whiskey and all these whiskey types, but they're still under that like broad category whiskey.
It's very narrowly defined.
It's very defined and controlled in the U.S. Rum is the Wild West.
Yep.
Almost no control. And I would argue that like the category of rum, or certainly at least when you're talking about sugar-based spirits, because then there's even other things outside of rum that are effectively the same, that's an even bigger category from one end of flavor to the other, or the grid or the matrix, or however three-dimensional, whatever you want to define it as. That's much bigger than whiskey's like flavor range is even.
No, it's
wild.
It's so good. Like once you get away from like the Bacardi and like the more spirits that everyone are familiar with, you get like into like some of the Jamaican pot still, like the Smith and Cross. You get all these rotting fruit flavor.
Oh, there's
it's
all
like
sorts
so
of
much
stuff in there.
Flavor in them.
And you have to sit and think about it.
Yes.
And those are, those
it
are
hits you like a smack in the face.
Those are a challenge for me a lot of the time too. Yeah. I mean, it's not for everybody. I like it every once in a while, but you got to sit and think about it, and you got to, it's not just you're sitting down and it's a Friday night and I just want something familiar and easy and whatever. It's a challenge. It's a mental exercise.
All right, let's do it.
Right? Warm up.
Right.
No, I'm super excited for the Queen Share. I don't think I've had a previous batch, but once I saw that you guys did it, I'm like, I love rum. So I can't wait.
There's only a couple U.S. Queen Share used to be a much bigger category too. It was the finest parts reserved for royalty kind of thing.
That's why it's purple.
That's why it's purple royalty, right? Yeah. There's only 3 or 4 other distilleries in the US that I'm aware of that are still making them. Like, it used to be a much bigger component, but as everybody moved to column stills again, and you got very efficient distillation, you don't have that leftover anymore that you can really do anything with. There's another, what did I hear? There's another term out there for them that I'd never heard till a couple months ago. And it was just, I mean, it was like the Queen's Cut or something like that. So you can look that up too and find other distilleries that are doing similar things.
Hell yeah.
What's been the biggest like learning curve since you started all this, or biggest hurdle, I should say? Has there been one, or just a constant?
It's just been a constant stream of them, right? I mean, I think I got to go back to that getting over this hump that you are not your ideal customer.
Yeah.
Right. Like this, like you step into it, you want to be this like idealistic, this is what we're making because I love it thing. And at some point you have to make business decisions.
Yeah.
And you once that, build it and they will come mentality kind of starts to crumble and you realize you have to do work. That's the biggest, and finding a way to maintain your identity, like you said, while still doing that.
Yeah.
Right. And balance it. And what's my story and how does that change this? And, oh, hey, we pushed really hard and said, we're never going to source anything. Guess what we do a lot of now, right? Like just kind of, you have to make those decisions, and people's, reception to those kind of things changes too. 10 years ago, sourcing was a dirty word in our industry. Nobody wanted sourced whatever. That's cheating. That's whatever.
Which is now, what everyone was doing anyway.
Everyone was doing it anyway. They were just hiding it. And now, 90% of what's on store shelves, you go to the vodka aisle, 95% of it was made in the same factory in Indiana.
Cool little sticker on it.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. That doesn't, and I think what people realized, people got the reality that that's what's happening anyway. And that happens in every industry. That's not distilling. That's not, that's how manufacturing works. As long as we're being transparent about it and still telling a good story and connecting with people, people don't care.
Yeah. I think that's the big thing, is just like not hiding it.
Right.
There's a level of disingenuity that people kind of eventually catch on.
They eventually figure out.
Because it starts to seep out, I think, in other parts of the business. It's like, if you're willing to cut that corner and not be completely transparent, well, it goes down
it's
the
a
line.
very slippery slope from there. Yeah.
Which I think is something that you see, like, as you get bigger, it's like, that's one of the hardest like tightropes to walk. Is like, I don't want to sacrifice. There's like a good and a bad, and I don't want to sacrifice the good for the bad just to like go a little bit further.
Just to go a little bit. You have to. That's where your identity comes in, and what you believe in, and what you stick to, and what your company is ultimately about, right? Because sure, we make spirits, you guys make burgers, like, but your identity behind the scenes is what makes that special. Yeah. Lots of people make liquor. Lots of people make burgers.
And anyone
but
can.
There's a whole lot more to your story. And anybody can.
Yeah.
There's no hurdle that I have jumped that other people can't figure out. Right? It's creating that identity and sticking to your guns and sticking to who you are.
Yeah. Which is the coolest thing. It develops over time.
It does.
Like a whiskey.
Like a fine whiskey. No, nice touch.
People give us a hard time because they'll ask us like, "What's in your yacht sauce?" or whatever. We're open book. We tell everybody everything.
Yeah.
They're like, "Aren't you afraid someone's gonna rip it off?" I'm like, go for it. We'll just make another sauce.
Right.
I don't care.
Go figure it out. Yeah. Somebody could have figured it out anyway.
Yeah.
It's.
I'm like, you don't have to tell people. They can just reverse engineer it and make your sauce.
People are smart. And if they want to go through the effort, cool.
Yeah.
But who really wants to sit and do that at home?
Anyone can make this sauce once, can make this burger once. Can you make it 100 times? Can you make it 1,000, 10,000, 100,000? Like, is it still going to be the same burger through the whole time? Or are you going to start getting, change in there?
Right.
And variability.
Then you add in taxes and employees. And
it's a whole thing. Yeah.
Enjoy. Good luck.
80-hour weeks.
Yeah.
More power to you. What else you got coming up? Anything exciting?
We've also got our the bar, our 5-year anniversary. So the bar at Echo Spirits, our cocktail bar in Grandview. We've been named Best Cocktails in Columbus a couple years in a row by Columbus Monthly Magazine. We didn't set out to necessarily make like a world-class cocktail bar, but we've kind of like stumbled into that, which is pretty cool.
Right on.
We wanted good cocktails in a casual, like accessible sort of setting that can put this in front of everyone, ultimately, the bar, it's our, like, to dig behind the scenes, right? It's our marketing front, right? Most people who interact with us, because I don't have $100,000 a month marketing budget, most people's interaction with us for the first time comes because they come into the bar. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times people come in and don't even realize we're a distillery. Like, we've got the equipment in the back through glass windows with spotlights on it, right? And people will come in multiple times. They walk past the bottles that are by our front door and they don't realize it, right? So that's like the first connection people have. So, like, putting forth that, the hospitality and the craft and doing everything with intention, that's kind of been the MO there. And, I'm not the one doing that. And I'll be the first to admit, like, from the business side, sometimes that's really hard to stick to, right? You're like, oh, can we squeeze money here? Can we do this? Can we do that? And you do wind up realizing that's the places where you're sacrificing quality. You just have to let those things be what they are to serve. That you just have to reframe your mind on what the purpose of that thing is. Yeah. Right. It's not about trying to make revenue. It's trying to engage people with us. Yeah. Right. That's the value there. So we just have to let it do that.
Yeah. When we opened our bar, we opened May 22nd, beginning in June, and we've never owned a bar or anything. My style of bar is an empty dive bar, in the morning when no one's there. So like you were saying, I'm not my ideal customer.
Right.
So if the bar looked like I would like it, it would just be empty all the time. Yeah. I'd be good with it, but it doesn't pay the bills.
I miss the days of going into drinks. Like empty bars and it's not till like, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the cool spot and it's quiet and it's whatever. And now I'm like, oh man, those owners were probably stressing like crazy because there was nobody there.
But yeah, when we opened it, we're like, we have 100 to 200 people coming in the restaurant a day. We'll open it. They'll come. Right. We had burgers and then they'll look in there and be like, oh, there's a bar. Go get drinks. And we were slightly mistaken. Yeah. But I mean, we still have people that come in. They're like, is there a bar back there? You guys have a bar? It's been open for like 6 months. Yeah. Where you been? Like, I come in here every week. I had no idea there's a bar right there.
Just missed it. You walk in the front door, you go right up to the stand, and yep. You don't look around.
No, that's been our big project right now. Is we figured out the burger side of things are working. What we've been doing for that, but then we've talked about this several times now, but like going to the bars, like relearning how to market everything. Yeah. But figuring out what our customers want. And we're trying to change it from Smash Buddies just being a burger place to Smash Buddies also being a neighborhood bar.
Right.
So it's
associating the two and pulling it. Yeah. It's a totally second business you're running, no matter how much overlap you feel there is between. And we've got a spot up in Powell now, and it's like the concept is like it's a much more casual outdoor kind of hangout spot. That's running a third business because it's not just a rinse and repeat of the same thing we've got in Grandview. So now over the last 6 months, because we opened that in about May too, and the last 6 months, like figuring out, okay, who is the audience here? What are they interested in? That's been a learning curve as well. And in some ways it's been easier because I've got some of that experience now figuring it out the first time, but it's when you're still finding a totally different crowd, it's hard because then you have to, you almost none of this, very little of this overlaps now at this point. So now it's 3 times as much work to like get all this done.
Which we always go, well, I always play those scenarios in my head. It's like, do we want to expand Smash Buddies and like, stay within the brand that we have, or do we want to dip our toes and like, oh, maybe we want to do a different concept or this and that. And it's like, you're opening up a whole nother can of
nother thing.
Whoop ass when you do that. Are going to
become 120.
It's like, do you want to live with that stress? Like, it would be cool because I like variety, but it's like Smash Buddies is also great. We can, give another community the
you can take this and open the same thing somewhere else. Yeah.
Or do both.
Right. Or do both. Yeah. Or do both. Never know.
Do it all.
Yeah. We like a challenge.
Yeah.
Works against us sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this is a great idea.
This sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. We, finally have Front Street open though. So I think it was 464 or 65 days. Of opening a restaurant without a street.
Well, we still really,
it's very easy to get here today with just shot right across the bridge. There you go.
Yeah.
I think that'll work out.
It is a lot easier for us coming and going to work too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It saves so much time.
I spent the last almost year and a half, the road's closed, so you can just walk across it without paying attention. And now I'm like walking across the road on my phone, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta actually pay attention.
There's cars here.
Get ran over. But yeah.
So I gotta ask, since you guys are like a smaller distillery, like if someone wanted to like have their own like bourbon, is there anything they can do to do that?
Like a private label or something like that,
experience it or anything?
I mean, we get that a lot. And you know, the problem is always volume, for private label and that kind of stuff. It's always like, I got to it's especially if I'm the one fronting the money, like if you want to open your own brand and launch it, do whatever, I will happily bottle it for you, that kind of thing. We do that, a lot of contract stuff.
What if they wanted to just like barrel?
And that's where we throw. So we've got barrel picks, and we've got we do a bottle your own bourbon experience.
Okay.
Down at the distillery. So you come in. I think it's $65. Includes the cost of the bottle, and you're getting like a barrel proof bourbon that's like 4, 5, 6+ years old, that kind of thing. You come in, you like get a tour, and then we've got I don't know what we need, the apparatus. I don't know what we call it. That's drilled directly into 2 bourbon barrels, and you taste between them. You taste blind. We don't tell you anything about them. Here's a sample. You're going to pick your favorite, because we've also had times where we used to like tell people what it was and like the age and all that kind of stuff about it, and people would just like automatically assume, no, I want this one. I'm going to do this one. And when we stopped telling people, it like inevitably like flipped to the one that we thought people would like better based purely on taste. But you like come in and you get to like, you stick your bottle under this and you pull some levers and do some fun stuff. It's very Instagrammable and all that. And, and it comes right out of the barrel directly into your bottle. You get to go cork it, label it, the whole shebang. It's a ton of fun. People like it. Great holiday gift, all those kind of things. We're always busiest with that. Like December, and then from like holiday gifts, like January, February, March, it's always like totally packed on all the sessions we have. We do 3 a week right now.
Okay.
1 Friday, 1 Saturday, 1 Sunday. And we can open up more, of course, as demand allows. We kind of let it ebb and flow. But like people love it for holiday gifts. It's a ton of fun.
How do you sign up for that?
So it's just on our website, echospirits.com. If you go to tours, on the top navigation, then there's like a bottle your own link, and from there, or you can find it like on Eventbrite. That's ultimately like our ticketing system for it.
Nice.
You just go in there and just kind of read about it and pick what day and time you want. And there's usually, I think it's a little bit out of date right now, but there's usually like a what am I looking for, text on the website that says what's currently on the bottler, so that changes over time. We burn through barrels way faster now than we ever have before, especially when there's like leaks or overfills or that kind of thing. So we're always kind of constantly changing it. Right now we've got a double oak bourbon and a wine finish bourbon. Ooh. But like coming up, it's also like, that's kind of one of our creative outlet ways now. We like doing lots of like barrel finishes and those kind of things. But if you bottle it on your own, we got to the point where, hey, we did a single barrel rye a couple years ago. It's fantastic, but we're just not that big of a distillery. It sat on the shelf for like 2 years, right? Like to slowly go through it. So we're like, well, in order to get these fun ones through a little bit quicker, a lot of time we're putting them up there. So just special, different stuff.
Yeah.
Now that we've got our Powell spot and we're kind of slowly moving some of our production work up there, there's more space available in the back in Grandview. So I'm hoping to upgrade that and like let people pick from like 4 barrels at a time now. So give you some options. We'll probably start throwing rye whiskeys in there, maybe some rums, that kind of stuff. Just like tons of options. If you want to take all 2 now or 4 home later, like you can.
And I bet it tastes way better too when you do it yourself.
When you do it yourself,
when you put in the hard work.
Yeah, put in the hard work. Yeah, we don't bottle it that way. One at a time. No, that'd take a long time. But
I can only imagine. No, I saw your guys' post today about cracking open the Queen Share barrel.
Yeah.
Looks way different than I kind of envisioned it, I guess.
The barrel dumping process. I mean, we're a small distillery. We spend more time moving stuff around than producing, probably just because of the small space we're in and stuff. So it's literally like pick it up on a forklift, stick a drum with like a mesh screen underneath it, and pull the stopper out and hope not to splash too much on yourself or the floor, right? I mean, you not have a big fancy, you see the Maker's Mark videos or wherever, and they got the big trough where they're dumping 10 barrels at a time all day long and that kind of thing. It's pretty hands-on. I got a guy, luckily I don't have to do it much anymore.
With what you're doing, as like production grows, like space is going to be the biggest thing you need, right?
We've always had like space issues. We outgrew our space very quick, very early. In fact, what was like 2022, I think we went and bought 2 box trucks just to use as storage. Because we got a deal on them. It was a distributor friend that we knew was getting rid of them. We got them for pennies. But it was way cheaper than like going and finding another space to store things. Right. We also do a lot of storage over at like Middle West Spirits. Like those guys, they've got great like barrel storage rates for other local distilleries. So like we've got like 150 barrels over there right now, that kind of thing, just aging. Like, hey, if we're not going to touch it for a couple years, like send it over there. Just the stuff you see in the distillery right now is like either freshly filled or about to be harvested.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, we have our buildings from like 1800s. It's the brewery district. Like if you go and peel like some of like the ceiling tiles back, you can actually see like the Rick House, like where they have like a concave ceiling and spaces where they used to store barrels. Right. Like where they used to.
Some of these, there's a lot of, there's a winery up the street, and some of these, like underground spaces. Yeah. It used to be storage. It's crazy, for that constant temperature year round.
And it's just an office space now. It's just like you can look at the ceilings and it's like, why does it do that every, spaced out period? And it's like, oh, they used to have barrels in here.
Right.
That's sweet.
Cool architectural
extra
era.
Couple inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess there was tunnels like connecting these in the winter. They would like run them all through. We're going to try to find them.
Yeah. We eventually need to bring a brewery back to the brewery district, but
it'll happen
down the line.
No, we get a lot of people from out of town because you go to a new city. First thing you do is get on Google and
brewery and the brewery
look up where they'll look up good food, and our place comes up. They're like, the brewery district. Where are the breweries? I'm like, well, there's one couple miles that way, a few that way. There's,
fun story.
Not really any here, but someday maybe.
Yeah,
it's a travesty. It'll happen again.
Yep,
one day.
You got anything else?
Before we wrap this thing up?
No, just come see us. Friendly local neighborhood distillery.
Yeah, we gotta set up a tour.
Yeah, please.
I would love to.
We gotta bottle our own.
Do a bottle of your own.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Maybe I'll get my wife that for Christmas.
What about me? I'll be the third.
You got money?
I'll be the third. No, I don't. I own a restaurant.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. Familiar.
You can't afford it.
All right. Well, cheers this thing out with your empty glass.
Right on.
Thanks for coming on, Joe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Smash you later.